Now that's a good question.
Hello, everyone. We're back with another good question. This week, Alex asks, what are northern lights? Well, that is a good question, especially in this area, because over the last few months, we have seen or have had opportunity to see some northern lights, otherwise known as aurora borealis. Now, normally these northern lights are only visible in Arctic regions. But recently, we've had a few opportunities where northern lights, these aurora borealis, have been visible much further south. Now, there's a reason for that. So let me try and answer that question. First, let's begin with the sun. The sun is our nearest star. It is our closest star. We call it the sun, but the sun, is a very active place. There's a lot of stuff going on the sun. There is an enormous amount of energy being produced by a process called nuclear fusion, where atoms are being fused together and it releases an enormous amount of energy. That energy we here on Earth receive in the form of heat and light and a lot of things that humans can't really detect, a lot of different forms of radiation. Now, here on Earth, we are very fortunate in that we are protected by a lot of the bad stuff. Now, this little globe here is not trying to illustrate it, but this is a good globe to illustrate a portion of our atmosphere called the ionosphere. The ionosphere is a magnetically charged, basically a force field around planet Earth, influenced by Earth's magnetic poles, the North Pole and the South Poles, the magnetic poles, that is. And the point here is when the storm gets nasty on the sun bursts out in these storms called solar storms. They can release particles at 1,000,000 miles an hour every direction into space. And if planet Earth is in the path of some of these destructive particles from storms on the sun, if we didn't have an atmosphere and an ionosphere in particular, or a magnetic field around our planet, life could be wiped out. But thankfully, we have this magnetic field, force field around us in the ionosphere, which takes some of these particles and direct them to the north and the south magnetic poles. When that happens, the energy from that nasty stuff from the sun energizes the gases in our atmosphere and makes them glow in the dark. And depending upon the intensity of the energy from the sun and the type of gases which are being charged, we could see colors that are reddish and greenish and even bluish or yellowish. These different beautiful colors we call the northern lights. So in answer to the question, what are northern lights? They are the Earth's demonstration to us how it is protecting us from the death of our own sun. Think about that for a moment. So we can be very thankful for the northern lights and the southern lights if you live in the southern hemisphere, because it is demonstrating to us that the earth is protecting us. What we don't ever want to do is get rid of that protection. So take care of the earth and it will take care of you. So thank you for asking that question. So until next time, think of more questions to ask.